Good morning. My name's Robert Coulter. I'm the General Manager of Partnerships here at the AFA. I'm delighted to be hosting once again this morning's webinar. I'm excited to introduce you to today's webinar entitled Estate Planning in an Ever-Changing Digital Environment, presented by Aruna Wickramasinghe from Your Wills. There's been a seismic acceleration towards digital-first solutions that are easy to use and provide direct compliance solutions for your clients. In this webinar, Aruna will take you through how clients can get the outcome they want at their convenience with a plug and play Wills software solution that is compliant and user-friendly. Aruna is the co-founder of Your Wills and has worked in Australia and the UK, primarily in financial markets, working closely with accountants, financial advisors and mortgage brokers. Your Wills was developed to remove the stigma and confusion that seems to surround the topic of making a will. Technology has made our lives more convenient. Listen, we're ordering our food, our designated drivers, our groceries online. We use technology to line up a date, and in the same breath, we book a table to dine with them. Every day, there's something new to replace the old way of doing a crucial thing that was hard to do. And it's on this premise that Your Wills solution was created. Before I hand over to Aruna, I'd just like to cover off a couple of pieces with webinar housekeeping. Today's webinar, as you will know, comes with one CPD hour available, and we'll send those details out to you in the next week. Aruna will be very happy to answer any questions you have at the end of the presentation. So please use the Zoom question and answer feature, not the chat feature as you can see in the diagram. I've been really looking forward to Aruna's presentation. I've been following his solution closely since it launched. I'm very keen to understand, gain a deeper insight into the estate planning world, especially from a digital perspective. I trust that you'll also find today's webinar of value. And we welcome any feedback that you have to info@afa.asn.au. Aruna, thank you for putting this important information together to help our members. Over to you.
Thanks, Rob, and thank you to the AFA. And thanks everyone for listening today. So today we're covering obviously estate planning in an ever-changing digital environment. As Rob touched on, there are some significant changes that are happening and a significant acceleration in the digitisation of everything. So a bit about me, I've got a diploma in financial services, superannuation, a bachelor's degree, business banking and finance, and a postgrad in accounting. I've worked here in the UK, primarily with advisors, mortgage brokers, accountants as well, and more so happening with Your Wills as well. Lots of accountants and mortgage brokers and financial advisors adopting our service, which is fantastic. So in light of everything, obviously we're in the COVID environment at the moment. Technology has had a far bigger impact on our lives than I think anyone would have expected in light of, especially in Victoria where we're based, being locked down. So everyone's on Instagram, LinkedIn, everyone's on Netflix, everyone's ordering their food through Uber Eats. Everyone's doing things differently, how they want it, when they want it, in a way that they want it more than anything else. And it's that, I think that instant gratification, which is what everyone's looking for in this environment. And they're actually looking for things, new ways of doing things that are making things a lot easier to do, which is the premise that I co-founded Your Wills. So we're removing that fear, that stigma, that confusion around, making a will, protecting yourself and your loved ones in a time of need. When you think about, so you speak with your clients around superannuation, insurance, and that insurance piece of the puzzle is probably more significant now than ever. And then you have wills, which is all about that asset protection as well. And making a directive is how you want your assets to be split up and protecting your loved ones in that time of need. So synopsis for today, which Rob touched on a little bit, innovation has never moved at a faster pace. You can start to see that with, the NASDAQ. You can see it more with what's happening on your iPhone, that technology, which is just phenomenal on there. It has everything you need when you want it, how you want it. COVID-19 has obviously seen that significant acceleration. So we've created a solution, especially for you to deal with your clients on annual review, where they can get a will, how they want it, when they want it, and they can do it in their own time. So it's a plug and play solution. It's user directed. So we've gamified it as much as we can, and it makes it really easy for your client to use, which we'll go through in more detail. It's timely as well, so they can do it how they want it. A family can do it in about 15 to 20 minutes, we find, and an individual can do it in about 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the complexity of their situation. We get a lot of wills done on the phone as well, which is really powerful for us, considering the user testing we initially did on this. So it's phenomenal to see that it's very functional on any phone, any iPad, and any computer as well. So it's cost effective, which I'll go through in more detail. We've priced it with 3 different price packages to make it easy and accessible to clients, and not have that issue where, you know, it'll cost me too much, I don't have the time, I have to go and see someone. All those pain points and hurdles and barriers have been removed, so people can get, your clients can get what they want, how they want it. And there's also a will share service as well, which we'll describe in more detail, which is really powerful for you to make sure you hold that will for that intergenerational wealth solution, which is critical in this environment and going forward. So we're compliant and user-friendly, which I'll go through in more detail. So synopsis continued is, you know, who are your wills? We'll cover off a summary of some of the key definitions, because I still find that there's some misconceptions around some of the definitions. So we'll just go through that in a bit more detail. We've got a lot of information there on our Facebook page as well, which covers off on the definitions. Financial wellness, which is what the wellness industry has obviously exploded recently. And I think people are taking their health and financial wellness, they're looking at it far more significantly now in this current environment we're living through, and probably for the foreseeable future as well. So how your wills works, how you can embed it within your practice, licensee, or if you're a product manufacturer watching this as well, how it complements corporate super as well. So will package options, and we'll go through, you know, the trigger points for doing your will. So most advisors watching this today would be doing this on annual review, but the key is, more than anything else, is does the will reflect the client's current circumstances? Because what I find out there is that some wills that are out there do not reflect the client's current circumstances. And we know our life changes on a daily basis, and maybe don't update your will on a daily basis, but it should be updated very regularly, 1 to 2 years, because things change very quickly. And the last thing you want is someone leaving something to their ex-partner, one of your clients, where you could have really pushed that conversation. This is the reason why. So we've created some dedicated landing pages, which we'll go through to make the client conversation a lot easier than it has been with any other solution out there. So I've designed this with the advisor in mind. So we'll go through gifts in wills as well, which is a huge part of the charity space, NFP space, which is significant, and it can have a significant impact on any foundations, clubs and organisations where you can actually pay it forward and create that little legacy that you leave, or big legacy that you leave, can actually have an ongoing support for someone else out there. And then what we've done with our partnership with the AFA is we've actually created a AFA 10 code, which will give all your clients 10% off when completing their will. So it's another incentive to go to obviously be part of the AFA and also get your client to complete their will, which is significant. And obviously we're a hybrid or omni-channel distribution solution. So if your situation is more complicated for your clients, what you can do is you can actually speak to one of our lawyers around Australia. So we partner with SLF lawyers who have offices around Australia. They have a 1-800 number, so your clients can call them as well. The first 15 minutes is for free. And if the situation is more complicated, they can actually go in and see one of the lawyers around Australia. So we are that hybrid omni-channel distribution point. So we cater for every situation. And then I'll go through a tour of the will software. The key with the will software, if you're listening to this now, is you can actually go in and you can log in and you only pay at the end, which is quite significant. So it's a try before you buy. We stand behind our product. So you can log in with Google, Facebook, BGL, or you can register with us. And you can try before you buy, which is very significant. And you can see that follow the bouncing ball sort of gamification that we've created with our software to make it easy for you and easy for your clients to complete their will. So learning outcomes. So we're going back to basics, be informed, talking about, you know, timely, cost-effective, user-friendly, intergenerational wealth solution. So this is quite considerable when we think about what's happening in the current environment, and especially with the demographic shift that's occurring, with the baby boomers all retiring, and what's playing out at the moment. So this is where, if you look at wills, it's a significant opportunity to protect your clients and their loved ones and their children and their extended family in a way that has probably never been positioned before. I know some practices that I spoke to last week are already doing this and are looking to optimize that strategy, but it's around getting that will, getting the will in for the children and having that on file with you. And obviously a will is essentially a fact find if you look into it from that perspective, from a financial planning perspective. It'll provide you, if you store the will on site, it'll provide you with a lot of other opportunities where you'll be able to identify gaps with insurance and superannuation needs as well. And obviously, if you're updating someone's insurance or updating their asset allocation in their superannuation, it's another opportunity to update their will, because there's probably been a life event trigger, if it's not an annual review, that has allowed them to wanting them to make sure they're looking into their insurance and they're looking into their super. So it's a huge opportunity for you. So we assist with regulatory compliance, and the key is mitigated brand damage. I think what we're seeing as more and more advisors become more holistic in their offering, and we know where the industry is going. I've spent a lot of time with advisors. It's that more holistic advice, and obviously annual reviews, annual opt-in are quite considerable when we think about that grandfathered era we're moving out of in that financial services space. It's quite significant, because the last thing, and I heard a story a couple of weeks ago around this, the advisor had not updated the client's will for a while. I had not provided them with a timely solution around this. They told the client and they'd made a file note around this, and the loved ones had come back and said, you know, why wasn't this pushed further and further for the client to get the will done and stored on site? So there's a lot of information around that, which I'll go through. And then finally, the will tour software. So who are your wills? You can see on the website, if you click on the Channel 9 article or the ticker interview I did on financial wellness, we're all about removing that fear and stigma around doing a will. I mean, everyone needs to have a will done. Make a directive, and your clients need to know the ramifications of not having a will and how selfish it can be for their loved ones who have to pick up the pieces, especially in a time of need. So what we've done is we've made it into a positive, more of a lifestyle solution, and celebrating life more than anything else, which was a great line one of our partners actually provided to us, which is a great way of looking at it. My story around your wills was that I needed a will about 5 years ago. When I had our first child, we were going to Fiji on a Saturday. So on a Friday night, travel insurance, passports, tickets, health insurance, got the insurance in place. What about wills? What happens if something were to happen to us when we're over there? What will happen to our daughter? And so that's when looking online, there was nothing there. There were a lot of alarm bells that rang for me. And I thought, especially being in financial services at the time, there's got to be a better way of doing this. So that's where we've created Your Wills in a very positive, empowering way for you and your clients to actually have the conversation and to make sure your client does a will. So some of the facts around this are quite significant. I know most of you would know a story where someone has died without a will and what the pain and suffering that has caused the loved ones, but 52% of adult Australians don't have a will. I was one of the 56% of parents that didn't have a will, and obviously that life event trigger caused me to actually look at my insurance, my wills, and obviously travelling as well. So 10 million Australians don't have a will over the age of 18. Channel 9 in our interview actually said it's up to 13 million people over 18 don't have a will. So it's quite considerable. I also play this game, you know, where's the will stored? Can you find your will? Easily. And most people would have moved house, it's in a box. They've got a reason as to where the will is, but they can't seem to find it. So it's all about making sure your executor knows where the will is, storing it with a financial advisor so you have that trust point as well. And it's all about making sure people know it's up to date, it's relevant, it's timely, and it's legal. So it's very significant when you think about this. The numbers at play here, and obviously with all your clients, the key is, when was the will last updated? 10, 15 years ago, it's probably out of date, and it's definitely not reflecting their current circumstances. I also see a lot of wills where 50% of marriages end in divorce, and the key there is that I've seen a lot of wills recently where they've actually left to the ex-partner, which is definitely not what you want in most situations. So you can start to see the numbers around this are quite significant. And it's that multiplier effect as well. And then the other significant part, when I lived in London, you know, in the US have formal death taxes as well. There's an additional tax here. You will pay with the state trustees if you die intestate or without a will. And it can be up to 5.5% of your gross assets. Check your local state trustee schedule, and it can be even higher for if they have to manage your income as well. So there are additional taxes. In Australia, we pay a significant amount of tax already as individuals and corporates. So it's another way you can protect your clients from any additional taxes as well. And it's that sort of, making them aware that this is actually something that can happen, and they need to do something today. So we'll just go back through some of the definitions because there's still a bit of confusion around this. So what I recommend doing, we've got the Facebook icon in the top right-hand corner, is actually following us on Facebook. We've got quite a significant following on Facebook since we launched in early last year. We've got a lot of engagement there as well, and there'll be more and more engagement through those digital channels. And you'll start to see how we make this a very positive and powerful conversation when you think about this topic. Typically, and how it's been done traditionally has been very morbid and boring. We've made it a bit more exciting and empowering. So probate, just so everyone's aware, and you can see this all on our Facebook page, which is Your Wills. Probate is a certificate which is granted by the Supreme Court and state and territories in Australia. It can be acquired where the deceased has a valid will. So it's quite significant when you start to see if you die without a valid will, your next of kin will need to apply for letters of administration with the Supreme Court. So this can be a lengthy and very costly exercise, especially in a time of need. So estate, what is an estate? So the executor, which is crucial here, is the person that you select or your client selects to manage your affairs when you're gone. Typically, we strongly advocate that person is healthy, a sound body and mind. They have to be over 18, and you typically want your executor to be, live longer than you so that they can manage your affairs when you're not there. And obviously, if you don't select an executor, your estate will be then dictated by the local legislation and potentially then the state trustees. So it's always good for your clients to make that directive where they want and how they want their assets to be split up, which is quite significant because you don't want to leave it in the hands of other people, especially when it's your asset base that you've built up over time and you might have certain things that you want to go to certain people. So don't leave it to chance is the key for your clients. So executor, we've covered it in more detail. It should be someone that should be, over 18 that can manage your affairs. There's lots of information we've got on our Facebook page as well, which covers this in more detail and within our software as well. And the key is to make sure that the executor can manage your affairs because you don't want the state trustees ending up looking after the affairs with their fees that they are able to charge. And it is different across different states and territories in Australia. However, roughly it is around 5.5%. Sometimes more, sometimes less. So guardian. So what's a testator? There's a bit of confusion here in testatrix. A testator is a male making a will, and a testatrix is a female making a will. What we've been able to do with our software solution as well to make it even easier for clients when they're going through the will process is there are dotted lines under certain words where we've had feedback that clients don't understand what it is. And if you just highlight over those words, what will actually happen is it'll bring up the dictionary definition. So we've made it as seamless and easy as possible for your clients to complete their will. And obviously for any office staff as well to understand more about the will process and yourself as well. So you want the guardian, someone of sound body and mind that can look after your children if anything were to happen to you. So it's important, that the guardian is nominated in certain situations. So they take the role as primary carer. And it's a crucial decision-making process. So it's more around your clients having that conversation with the executor, the guardian, and anyone they nominate as well, and any beneficiaries as well. I think there's a lot more transparency going on in, especially when doing your will now, is what we're finding with some of our clients, where they're more than happy to have the conversation. And I think maybe that's in light of the current environment we're living in as well, people are more open to talking about certain things as well with their loved ones. What if something were to happen to me? So it's probably that the environment with COVID, which has opened up certain conversations which probably weren't taking place previously. So pet carer. I've got 2 children and I've got a dog. I make sure that the dog is looked after. What you'll find as well is it's crucial for you to have that conversation with anyone where you've nominated, you've got a pet, it's your loved one. There's about 27 million pets in Australia. They can be dogs, cats, snakes, horses. We've heard of all sorts of things over the journey. So it's not just dogs. There's 4.8 million dogs, I think, in Australia. Obviously, in light of COVID, there's a shortage of puppies at the moment where everyone is getting a dog from what we can see and what's been discussed in the press. So it's all about what happens to your pet if something were to happen to you. And if you think about, especially if it's not you, it's your clients, their loved ones as well, their parents as well. They typically might be older, retirees, pre-retirees, where they're looking at, what happens if something were to happen, especially if the client is independent as well. They have a loved pet, cat or dog. What you'll find is if they haven't had the conversation, if something were to happen to them, that loved animal will go to their favorite pooch, will go to the pound, and it won't be taken care of in a means which that pet was typically accustomed to. So it's definitely something to have that conversation. And when we bring this up, the penny drops with people because they haven't had that conversation and they haven't thought about it previously. So it's definitely something to bring up with your clients and their loved ones as well. So assets or anything of value, most of you would be aware of what the definition of an asset is. So it's, property, cars, shares, insurance, artwork, furniture. It's many and varied, but anything that has a dollar denomination against it that does have a saleable asset. Look, it can be a lot of things, but they're the key ones that are listed and for your clients to be aware of. So this is where it's considerable for the client to be aware that this is what the definitions are. We make it very clear on our Facebook page as well, so your clients can follow us as well. So this is something we've created because there's a lot of confusion still out there. So we've created on the dedicated AFA landing page, we've got templated client letters you can send to your clients, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel to make it easier for you. Because I know when I used to be a BDM, everyone loved, brochures and, things they can use and take out to clients immediately, so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. And they've got a compliance solution as well. So this is very significant that you can use this with your clients. So what we have on the AFA landing page is a version of this, which allows you to obviously use within your EDMs, any letters. You can print it out and laminate it and give it to clients as well. It makes it very considerable document for clients to actually use and have a look at. And it talks about, it replaces about 1,000 words, and everyone loves visual aids of how things will work if the client dies without a will, and their loved ones as well. So you can see the AFA 10 code for 10% off. So that's the promotional code we've created, and that's across any of our will packages. So this is on the AFA landing page with a client-friendly templated letter. And that can be used for your corporate super clients as well. We're being approached a lot more by employers as well, wanting to offer this to their staff. So if you have any corporate clients, you deal with any HR representatives or anyone in HR, they're looking for something more to give to their staff as well, especially that their staff can do and access remotely, which is exactly where our service fits in. So it's a great tool to use. So financial wellness is very significant in everyone's mind at the moment, especially around that lifestyle health and sustainability, which is significant. What we've found is that this environment we're all living in at the moment, everyone's looking for their financial wellness. And when you talk about financial wellness, if I was just to talk about wills, people might have a closed mind and be reluctant to hear about things. But when you talk about financial wellness, it opens up everyone's eyes and ears, and they're more than happy to hear about things that they might not have been looking at before. So it's an employment offering. When you look at the wills solution that we have, our wills software solution is in the cloud. So it's accessible. It's on an Amazon Web Service anytime, anywhere, which is the key. First responders as well, military. We get a lot of wills done at what some would consider odd hours, but if you think about first line responders, nurses, doctors, anyone, manufacturing staff, it's significant to see how many people actually work different hours to what that sort of 8 till 6, 9 to 5 that we would probably potentially be working now. And this is where we have a solution for them as well. So we recognise life events. We've even got, Spotify song playlists as well. So it's a big, it's a day of celebration, and that's the way people need to look at this. So this is where, you know, your clients can put in songs to be played at their funeral, any certain drinks. If they want a certain footy song played, they can nominate that as well. So it's a bit more of a personal, you know, approach that we've had. So it's ultimate peace of mind when you look at it as well. When someone has their will complete and up to date, and it reflects their current circumstances, you'll find that, you know, their shoulders drop, they take a deep breath and they're saying, look, I've finally made this, I've finally done it, which is what people put off due to all sorts of reasons as well. So it's a 9 simple step process. We're secured by Securi and Sectigo. We've got the highest EV SSL available. We stand behind our product. So it's try before you buy. You can go in and see exactly what the product looks like and how easy it is. So where I talk about financial wellness, this is a really popular blog we have at the moment. It's been picked up by a few different providers as well, which have taken this blog and run with it, which is really positive for us because it shows we're doing something right. So this is the wellness wheel, and you might be able to use it in your own conversations as well, or any of your digital channels as well. And it just talks about, you know, what wellness looks like. And this is where, you know, spiritual, social, physical, you know, eating correctly, kale chips, whatever it may be, cutting the carbs, cutting the alcohol, but having a look at that financial wellness as well, which is crucial. Obviously, there's been a significant rise in mental health at the moment. And when you look at the financial impact, what that spurs off, and some of the triggers off people being financially affected in this environment, it can be quite significant. So this is where everyone's looking at, you know, optimizing their current strategy, whether that be, you know, cutting costs, looking at different asset allocations, looking at their insurance and looking at their will as well. So that ultimate peace of mind is what they're looking for in this environment. So that's a great blog on our site you can have a look at. So we've got a specific blog as well when we were approached by a few HR organisations that we created just to make it really clear as to how we can actually help your corporate super clients, anyone you know that, you know, looks after a business, wants to look after their staff. There's no cost to them. And in fact, you know, it's another benefit. They can offer the AFA 10 code. And it's just talking about as an employment offering as well, which is something that probably hasn't been done in the past. But because we're doing it in a very positive and empowering manner, you know, we can partner with people which, you know, people haven't been able to partner with. So there's some great videos here, especially from West Coast Football Club and St Kilda, who we partner with. One especially with Luke Shuey, which talks about family. And we've had some of our accountants and advisors using that with their clients, and it's been very powerful. So I'd definitely have a look at our Facebook page around this, and it works very well with staff as well as to why they need to get a will. And it's just a different approach. So as I said, we've designed this obviously with compliance in mind, user directed as well, timely and cost effective. So we've created dedicated landing pages as well, which you'll see on site. We've got rotating banners, which are sort of life event triggers. And we've also got the personas. So there's 8 personas at the base, which you can click on. And each of those have a copywritten story as to why your clients need a will. This is at the top of the page, so it's just another link you can obviously send to clients and CC in your CRM tool, whether that be Salesforce or whatever it may be, just so there is a track record that you're going above and beyond to, you know, to promote the fact that the client needs a will, and it's all recorded for compliance purposes as well. So you've got strong file notes there. So this is a really good link you can use. So that's at the top of the website on the homepage. So this is a very popular landing page we've got, which is around retirement. So the golden years. So each of these have a copywritten story. In the interest of time, I won't go through each of the personas. However, if you scroll down, you'll see each of these have a very powerful message to make it clear to clients why they need a will. If anyone thinks they're going to live forever in this environment, everyone's having sort of that recalibration of looking after their loved ones and themselves in this time. So there's a great retiree landing page you can use with your clients. Once again, you can just cut and copy the link and send it to clients as well. Family, this is another one. This was my trigger to co-found Your Wills. Was getting that typical life event. You've had a child, you might have got a mortgage, whatever it may be. This is why you need to get a will done. And it's making that directive more than anything else and making it clear, how your assets should be divvied up. So this is the key here. So, and Baby Makes 3, you can send any of these personas to your clients. We've got another one which is independent. So this is crucial as well. So it just makes it clear why you need to get a will. So each of the copywritten pages each of the landing pages have a copywritten story you can use with your clients. Another one which is very popular, which we haven't covered here, is tradies. So everyone knows a tradie, or everyone deals with tradies in some capacity. And this is where the CFMEU actually say on their website, every 10 days, one person dies on site for many and very different reasons. But if you know anyone in a blue collar workforce, or they're operating, whatever it may be, it's definitely something you need to bring up with them, because it's highly important for them working in a sort of dangerous occupation. So how does the actual software work? So I'm sure most of you on the website now having a look, yourwills.com.au. So you can log in with Google, Facebook, BGL, or you can register with us. You select your state, then your details. We've made it as simple as possible and gamified it as much as we can. So each time the client goes through this process, it's step 1 to step 2, there's a level of success and fulfillment. They're getting one step closer to the end. So we've made it very simple. You then nominate your executors. What we've done once you go through the software is we've pushed it as far as we can before various sets of lawyers have said you need to stop here. You don't want to border on giving advice. So we've gone as far as we can, which you'll see how intuitive our software actually is. Nominate an executor. Assets and liabilities, so clients can type in their assets and liabilities if they like, or they can fast track right to step 8, where they can just split it up amongst their children. They can give it all to their partner. We make it really seamless for clients to actually use our service. Once again, if the clients don't have children, those different life event triggers, they don't have pets, they can skip right to the end. So it's complicated or as simple as you want it to be, and it's as fast as you want it to be as well. So it's really simple. And then what happens is, after step 8, the client actually pays there. So they can go through the process without paying and get comfortable and familiar with the software and how easy it actually is. And they can try multiple times. And then what will happen is they'll pay at step 8, and then they'll review and submit. And that's where you can use the AFA code for 10% off. And what they can then do is then actually email you a copy of their unsigned will to build up that mutuality. And it's another touch point for yourself. So this is what it actually looks like on screen if you haven't already logged in to have a look. So it's very simple, it's bright, it's colourful, it's empowering. The client pays at the end. So it's very easy to use, and it's follow the bouncing ball. We've made it very simple and easy and user directed. And we take a lot of feedback, and if we get enough feedback, we'll look at it, and what we'll do is we'll actually update and optimize the software. So we're always iterating the software, landing pages. So if you do have any feedback, please pass that back to us via our contact us page. So the different will packages, this is where it gets interesting. Obviously, we've built this for scale in mind. I had a problem with not getting a will to begin with, so this is where I wanted to alleviate this for advisors, accountants, mortgage brokers, and everyday and every Australian out there. So the standard package starts from $89.95. We've got 3 different packages there. The premium package is $149.95 plus GST. And the platinum package is $349.95 plus GST. So what's the difference between the packages? So the standard package is your once-off will. So you can see what happens there is you have 7 days to complete your will. You can complete it. It's stored under your account. It's also emailed to you as well. So that's $89.95. What's interesting is when we launched, we had people coming back within 3 months and saying, look, this is we've got a living will solution, which is what we like to advocate. Their life had changed. They bought a new house. They'd got a new asset. They wanted to update their will, which was quite surprising to us because I don't think that's been the case ever in this industry. But because they have a price competitive opportunity to actually have that conversation, they've actually gone and updated their will every 3 months. So what we then did was we created the premium will package, which is significant. And what that allows us to do is it actually allows the client to actually update their will 3 times a year. So it gives us that flexibility for clients, which is what they need and what some of your clients will need as well. So why would they want to update their will every 3 times a year? Well, we're seeing it already, significant volumes going through at the premium package. If they have a debilitating condition, a fluid family situation, they can use the premium package, and that is a subscription-based model where they can keep it updated. They can store it all in the cloud using Google 2-factor authentication and AES 256 encryption, which is US government standard. And then we have the platinum package as well, which has, you can make changes, unlimited changes per year. Your details are all stored in the cloud. So it just saves a client typing all the details in again with the premium and platinum package, and they are subscription based. So we'll store all the details in the cloud. The client can then opt out if they like, or they can continue on for another 12 months. It's entirely up to the client. What we've got coming out in the next 2 weeks is powers of attorney, so general powers of attorney, enduring advanced healthcare directives as well, which we will put on the premium package and platinum package as well. And they'll also be available as standalone packages for your clients. What I'm finding out there as well is most of your clients might not know that a power of attorney actually extinguishes upon death. So I've had conversations with people where they're saying, oh, I don't need a will. I've got a power of attorney over my ex-person. I said, well, you know, that person actually needs a will because the power of attorney ceases upon death. So most of you may have that sort of, the clients might have that over their parents. They definitely need a will as well. So that's a big misconception out there. So we will be addressing that issue as well. So it'll allow your clients to come to the site and they might get a power of attorney initially, and then they can come back and do their will in their own time. So Facebook, why do I keep addressing Facebook? It's a very powerful message, and there's some great pictures on there which you can use with your clients. There's a lot of great definitions as well. I think the one which, as you can see in the sort of the middle, is the 99 problems, but my will ain't one. So that's more of a bit of a, you know, a jovial approach around, you know, making light of people need a will, you know, and it's one less problem that people need to deal with. So it's a great opportunity to have a look there and to get your clients to sign up and to use some of the information we have on site. So this is quite significant. So we've got a one-click gifts and wills solution. The reason I'm covering it today is most people have some allegiance to a charity, especially financial advisors, accountants and mortgage brokers. They have an allegiance to a charity and their preferred charity. So this is a way where we can actually help not-for-profits. We partner with Included Charity, who have 72 of the biggest gifts and wills charities available. We also partner with, you can see under the charities, universities and foundations. We've got St Kilda West Coast. We've got a few other providers, Legacy as well there, and Greenpeace as well, which is significant. So we do like to support people that are doing good things in society, and to keep that money, you know, give people an opportunity, your clients an opportunity to give and to pay it forward. So this is another opportunity as well. And if you have any allegiance to any clubs, charities or organisations, we can actually build custom gifts and wills platforms as well. We've done one with Dogs Victoria through our connection with someone prominent here in Victoria, which was an introduction, and they were looking for more gifts and wills and offering their clients more in a time of need and going forward. And if you think about the connection people have with dogs, it's quite significant. So we help them tell their story, which is significant. So you can watch the video on our website. We built them a custom platform. We hold all the compliance. It's a variation of our website. They get access to it, their clients, and they can offer their clients a solution and potentially get a gift in will as well. So it's very unique. And then we're available for PD days, any other educational days as well, and help any of your clubs, charities or organisations with how they can tell their story around Facebook, Instagram, you know, and our journey, which people are more than happy to hear and actually want to hear. And if you watch the video, you'll see how powerful that video is, which we help them tell. So why gifts and wills? You'll hear more and more charities talking about this. Because it is that rattling the tin and then they're looking at more commercial aspects around this. It's a huge opportunity to get quite a considerable donation, which it also allows them with our one-click gifts in will service, where they get alerted with the client's permission if they leave a gift in will. It allows them to bring sort of that lead generation capability where they can actually, you know, nurture that relationship over 20, 30, 40 years with that individual, which they might not have been alerted to previously due to the fact that typically in the gifts in will space, or if a charity or a club or foundation gets a gift, they only find out once from the executor, once the individual has passed away, and they might have never had a relationship with that individual. So it's always good for, you know, charities and organisations to be making the call and not taking the call, so they can be very proactive. So our solution helps in that space as well. So this is really key. This slide I want to spend a bit of time on, even though we've only got a little bit of time left. So this is the AFA 10 code. So it's a 10% discount. You can use this with your clients. We're happy for you to use this with anyone you like. Any of the clients can just send this on to their friends, family, loved ones, whoever it may be. so we can assist as many people as possible. So you know the story at review. The client needs to make sure, you need to make sure the client has an up-to-date will. It does reflect their current circumstances. It seems to be a hit or miss the process when I speak to a few people around this, but to ensure if it's not yourself as the advisor having the conversation, it's your staff potentially having the conversation and making sure you've got very strong file notes around this. If it's part of your, obviously it's part of most advisors' CVP, and to make sure the file notes and it's all recorded, that you've gone above and beyond in this space. It'll protect you as well from the compliance piece, and it also protects, obviously, your loved ones, the client and their loved ones. So what it allows you to do is obviously ring fence your client's assets. It's a great corporate super offering. Once people see in your client's HR, corporate super, that there is actually an additional tax that the state trustee may charge, and it's 5.5% of gross assets, which is significant. It's sort of a wipe off 5 campaign. It's wow, it really alerts people to the fact, and the penny drops, I need to do something today and I need to protect myself, because it's an additional tax potentially that people don't need to pay and your clients don't need to pay. So it's a living will solution. So with our price point, we've created it for a scale game because we want people to have a will just like I needed a will, and we've made it as easy as possible. So this is where if your clients situations change, they can update their will as well, very quickly and cost effectively as well. And this is the crucial part, which I strongly recommend. Obviously, you need to speak to your licensee around this. They may have a process around this, is making sure that your client's will is stored with you and it's stored on site. It's a perfect solution for intergenerational wealth, that the clients will then tell their children or their loved ones that the will is stored with a certain advisor, and it gives you an opportunity to potentially make a call to that individual as well, and talk to them about what you can do and how you can help. It's more touching base, and it gives you another opportunity to engage with someone you may not have been able to engage with previously through a will service. So it's a very unique opportunity if you look at how this can, so the multiplier effect out of storing wills on site, and what that looks like and the benefit for you, especially around that intergenerational wealth solution. So we can also assist in obviously mitigating any brand damage as well, because if your client doesn't have a will, if you've spoken about everything else, but the will isn't up to date, that can have a huge impact on the perception value of your brand and your firm's brand as well. Because such a strong piece of the puzzle was not up to date. Why was it not up to date? Why wasn't the conversation had, or in stronger terminology as well? So we can really help you in your business with, grow and do things in a different way, and help your clients as well. So once again, we've got a dedicated AFA landing page, which will be sent out to you shortly, but it can be found under our blogs. We've got a client-friendly email. You can use the AFA 10 code across all the packages, and it'll also be available on the powers of attorney, medical, enduring, and the advanced healthcare directives that are coming out shortly. So there's another additional benefit as well. And we also have this image for you to download, to put on your website, EDM, give to clients as well, email out to clients. So we've made it as easy as possible. If you have any feedback as well and you'd like something else that we haven't created, please email us or contact us via the Contact Us page. So any complicated situations, any clients, what you can do is they can actually call SLF, who have offices around Australia. First 15 minutes are free. The 1-800 number is at the base of the website. If you scroll to the bottom, just around where our partners are listed, some of our major partners, sorry, not all our partners are listed there. So that's a great opportunity where we can cater for everyone in every client circumstance as well. So it's another opportunity for you to engage SLF lawyers or use your wills where we can help your clients and help your practice. So SLF are multidisciplinary as well. So they offer a lot more than just estate planning solutions. So definitely you can click on their icon at the bottom of the website and it'll take you through to their page. So once again, powers of attorney coming out, which is a crucial piece of the puzzle, advanced healthcare directives as well. You'll see that onboarded very shortly onto the website. So just a quick tour of the integration, what it looks like if you're not already on the website now. So I've got a disclaimer the clients can just click through. They agree to the terms and conditions. They can go through, you can select a state. Once again, we say that there's a 1-800 number. They can speak to SLF if they have any questions about wills while they're going through the process, or their situation is more complicated, or they want to trust. You can then go to your details. So it's very intuitive. It's just all drop-down menus. Then executors as well. So we make it very clear what happens if they don't appoint an executor, and to make sure the client is over 18 years of age. And you can start to see the dots underneath the word executors. If you click on that on your laptop or iPhone or iPad, it'll actually bring up the definition of what that means. So it's very simple. So assets and liabilities, they can nominate that here. Obviously, we know the key is to have a strong binding nomination and to have a will as well with superannuation, or they can speak to their superannuation provider if they want leave it to their legal personal representative. It's entirely up to the client, as you would be aware. We've actually got a part on here for other assets. So if clients have Bitcoins, they can list their Bitcoin wallet as well. So we make it as encompassing for everyone as possible. Children, once again, you can see the guardians there, testator and testatrix. It's as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. If you don't have children, but you have pets, you can obviously then skip through to step 6, and you've got the carers there. Gifts in wills as well. Obviously, if you want to leave anything to a child, a loved one, whoever it may be, you can add other beneficiaries as well. If the client wants to make it more of a celebration, their big day or for their wake, do you have any other funeral wishes? You can actually list their songs to be played at your funeral, which we get a lot of, drinks, whatever it may be, whatever the client wants to make it more personal. And then residual of estate, anything else. And you can go through this and see for yourself how easy it is. What happens then is the client will then, you can use the AFA code. So it goes to, this will be a pop-up where the client can then click their will package. So AFA 10, so you can see, have a promotional code, type in AFA 10 and click apply. What you will see is then the discount is then applied. In this example, we've used the premium will option. It is applied across any of the will packages. And that's ongoing, that discount as well. And it'll also be applicable across all the other powers of attorney, advanced healthcare directives that we bring to market shortly. Then the client just reviews and submits. So it's very easy and intuitive. They can edit it and they can go back if there's something that isn't right or there's a spelling error. And then what will happen is, this is the final piece, which I think is really crucial. The client can then download their will, and it'll also be under their account. But more importantly, they can email a copy of their unsigned will to you, the financial advisor, or their accountant, their lawyer, their family member, their trusted friend and executor. So this is really crucial, because what we're finding is people don't know where the will is. We are building a vault service as well, which will be released shortly. But in the interim, this is extremely powerful to make sure the client emails you a copy of the will. That can come straight to you. It can go to any of your support staff as well, and then you can just pick up the phone straight away and ensure the client gets that signed and witnessed appropriately. And it might be another opportunity to engage with that client, have them come in and see you, because there might be other opportunities there where the client's circumstances change, especially if they've done their will independently of you telling them to get it done. So there's obviously been a trigger there in the background. So this is quite significant, the will share service, because it builds up another touch point for you and your practice. So these are just some of the references there. You can see it all on Google. There's a lot of really good information there. You can watch the Channel 9 news article on us, which was done a couple of weeks ago, which is extremely powerful. I'd definitely go to YouTube and watch some of the videos there that we have there, which are quite considerable. There'll be more there as well around this. So more than anything else, today is about showing you how easy our solution is, giving you a bit of an update around wills, why clients need wills, what the ramifications are, why you might need to have a stronger conversation with some of your clients. Any HR, corporate super, this is a one-to-many solution, highly scalable, and can provide you a solution as part of your package. So you might have a lawyer you deal with, clients might be might want another solution. So we're just part of the package. And once you see how we're doing things differently, you'll find your clients will resonate with us more and more. So everyone, thanks for your time. I know we've got 10 minutes left for questions. What I'll do, I'll just hand it back to Rob, because there'll be, I'm sure, a few questions which have come through.
Thanks, Aruna, and congratulations. I mean, firstly, it's a great solution. That was super, super interesting. So congratulations. There were a number of questions around the estate taxes. I saw that came through.
Yep.
Is this is it an estate tax or is it a public trustee tax? I know you said wipe off the 5. What did you mean
That
there?
comes from the state trustees. So that is a state trustee additional tax that they will charge. So you can go to any of your state trustee schedules. And that is an asset-based tax, which we've used for Victoria here as an example. They can charge state trustees here potentially, last I checked, up to 6.6% as well. Most people would have had some interaction with state trustees, especially financial advisors, which I've heard firsthand last week. So it's definitely something that you want to be on top of to make sure your clients have a will to avoid this.
What about testamentary trusts? Got a question here. Is that something you're contemplating? Or?
Yes, that's something we're building. In the interim, we've got the SLF lawyers who you can give them a call on the 1-800 number and they can go through that as well. But it is something we're building shortly. We're finding, because of our connection with the Australian Patients Association, we're building powers of attorney. That's been something that will be come out very shortly, and the advanced healthcare directives as well. Because I think what you'll find is there'll be a lot more conversations around that in light of what we're doing as well, and some of the advocacy, what we're doing in this space.
Right, thank you, Aruna. Just a question around pricing. You set out the 3 different pricing models.
Yep.
Can they be a one-off or a subscription? Is it either or? The question is, if someone doesn't want to pay an ongoing fee, do they get to choose, or it's basically?
Yeah, definitely, they get to choose. So if they want a once-off, they can just use the standard package. So that is a once-off fee, $89.95, obviously less the 10% AFA discount, plus GST. The premium and platinum are subscription-based models. However, the client can do a premium or platinum to have that flexibility to not type everything again based on their situation. If they want to keep it updated every week, every month, however they want to do it, then they can opt out before the 12 monthly subscription comes in. So we're very flexible with clients.
Yeah. It's a question again around costs and will your costs go up with your power of attorney and advanced health directives? That I think you said you're including them in your premium package.
Yes. So great question. The cost will not go up. We're here. I'm big on helping people because I needed a will. The cost will not be going up. I can't say forever, but they won't be going up with the current pricing. They will be embedded within the packages to bulk up those packages and provide more value to you and your clients. So
you heard it here first. It's never going up. Congratulations. I've locked you in there. Well done.
Not because we're adding those services to those packages. There'll also be standalone pricing or naked pricing where they'll be able to buy each of those powers of attorney, advanced healthcare directives individually as well if they don't want the packages. So they can pick and choose exactly how everyone picks and choose what they want now. They can do that with our service as well.
What about organ donation? Aruna, got a question around, can you record or record that you are an organ donor?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually had a conversation. We can't do that yet. There are free text fields there, which the client can type in. Where I spoke to the government body dealing with that organ donation 2 weeks ago, which we're working through now. Our connection with Australian Patients Association, we're working through that now. But the client, if they because we have free text fields, they can type it in one of the free text fields if they want to note that. So that's the key as well. That's a good point you've raised. Clients, because it's free text fields, they can type in what they want as well. And it's included in that documentation.
Okay, thank you. Do you need a lawyer to do an enduring power of attorney?
No, the client can be, the client can do it themselves, but they will need to note someone there. It depends on what they're putting in there. But I would strongly recommend once our enduring powers of attorney come out, we will be making it very clear there, depending on which part they pick within that, because the enduring and medical powers of attorney are quite considerable documents. But you've got the 1-800 number for the law firm if you'd like to give them a call for more specific information, because I can't give legal advice, and that's been made very clear to me. So you need to ring the 1-800 number, which is at the base of the page.
So why would a client choose to, client choose to pay an annual fee rather than an ad hoc fee? What's the benefit?
Yeah, the benefit for
being,
them is they're getting
Yep.
that ongoing, they don't need to type their details in again. So it's a time saving.
Yep.
So it's stored in the cloud. We use Google two-factor authentication. They need to register with us and 256 AES encryption. So it's securely stored in the cloud. Then if they want to make a change, they don't need to type everything again and go through the process. They can just type in the password and it'll unencrypt in the cloud. So if they've got a new partner, a new house, a new asset, they can just make that change quickly, and within 5 seconds, they can have a new document.
Thank you. What does, do you do anything from a pricing perspective around families? So
we haven't yet. This has come up a number of times. We're building family packages, but at this point in time, we haven't done that yet. But it is something that is on our roadmap to look at. So that's a great question.
Yeah, you've got it on your radar there. We've got a question here, which I think you answered during the presentation, but is there a list that defines what an asset is?
Yeah.
As this is a major source of confusion. I think I did hear you go through.
Yes, I went through it quickly. You can go to our frequently asked questions page on the website, and that will cover it in a fair bit of detail. You can go to our Facebook page, and there's a significant definition there. Otherwise, if there's anything you need specifically that isn't there, we can create something for you, or we can update it if it's not there for you on the website.
Great, thank you. And a question around signatures and the amount of people that need to witness the documents. Could you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, so this is a big source of confusion. So what you need to have is just 2 people signing, witnessing the document at the same time, that ideally that aren't beneficiaries, and they need to use the same pen. That is the key. So if they're...
Wow.
That is the legal terminology I have been told to use, but it is very strong that they use the same pen where they can, because obviously at that point in time, you don't want there to be, it just adds a bit of uncertainty. So the same color pen will be the key.
Yeah, and it's just about timing. Question here around having a second executor. So let's just assume that your executor is your partner in the first instance. However, both couples pass away at the same time in an accident.
Yep.
And then the question is, can you then allow your children to be an executor? Well, you can only be an executor if you're 18 plus, I think I heard you say.
So we've factored in, that's a great question. Sorry not to cut you off, Rob, but you can have up to 3 executors on our service. We've limited to that because otherwise it can get a bit confusing. So you can add up to 3 executors on the service under executors. So we have catered for that.
Okay. So could you give us a sense of how many of the clients here are going through that particular process, that 9 steps, and how many take an off ramp to speak to somebody? Have you got a sense and percentage?
Yeah, it's a very low percentage. Look, it'd be 7 to probably 14% last time we checked this, because we've made it as simple as possible. And once you actually go through the software, you'll see that gamification and that follow the bouncing ball methodology we've used to make it really simple and easy. But what we find is even when they're speaking to the lawyers, they're still completing the will using our service. So it's really interesting to see, but we've made it as simple as possible. And even a simple thing as moving the payment screen to the very end, try before you buy, is just something really powerful, because there's no hurdles anymore to not have an up-to-date will and not have it directly reflect your current circumstances. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. It's quite a lengthy question here. I think you've answered the question around testamentary trusts. So you're contemplating that. Who holds the liability for the legality of the will? I'm pretty sure that's your lawyers.
Yep. No, that's us. So what happens is the client needs to execute the will properly, which you'll watch if you can see the video. Obviously, we have all our insurance in place. We've got a legally binding solution once the client signs and witnesses it appropriately. And that's all we can do. We have to leave it in the client's hands. That's why we provide multiple touch points with the client to make sure the will is signed and witnessed.
Right. And you've also spoken about enduring powers of attorney, medical powers of attorney, that they are coming. And then until when can advisors use the AFA 10 code, well, they can use that.
They can use it right now. We've had
Yeah.
advisors use it already. So yeah, they can use it right now. So just make sure when you're in that pop-up screen, add promotional code. It should be pre-embedded if you're using the link from the landing page in the blog, which will be sent out to you after this. Otherwise, anyone ad hoc, you can use the AFA 10 code. We've got the client templated letter as well, which you can personalize and add in that code and make it really simple and easy for your clients.
Yeah. So if a client doesn't want to use a subscription model,
yep.
But creates a one-off set and forget will because they've got a stable set of circumstances, can they access their wills, the wills and testamentary trusts if they're not paying an annual subscription?
Yeah, what happens is, so I think there could be a bit of confusion around this.
Yeah.
Once someone completes their will based on any package, they get emailed a copy of their will and they can download it from their account. What happens then is the standard package would be the key for these sort of clients where they just want to update. They just want to do it on an ad hoc basis. Is the standard package is what I'd be using with your clients. So if it's an annual review, you want to make sure it's updated. They can use the standard package. We do get a lot of the premium packages done as well, which is considerable. I think it's more because of the price point as well. They can be active. You know, it's a live will.
Yeah. Aruna, we've had just an absolute heap of questions. I've tried to get through as many as I could.
Yep.
Firstly, I just want to record our thanks. I mean, this has been an excellent update, and congratulate you and the team. What great entrepreneurial spirit, and frankly, you know, it's a solution that most people do find daunting.
Yeah.
You know, I've got the full catastrophe. I've got a blended family. I'm very, very active in my will because it needs to be updated. So I couldn't agree with you more. I never thought we could have such a focus on pets. So you have opened my eyes to what goes on there.
It's significant.
And I think the gifts and wills, right? People really do think about that. And people do think about sort of this enduring legacy. And you're to be applauded for that. So thank you. Thank you so much for putting this together. I'd like to thank the team at Your Wills. Also like to thank people who registered today. Just to remind you, this has been recorded. Your CPD points will be coming out to you. Aruna is also going to be joining us at the AFA virtual conference. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. To the folks that are out there, if you haven't heard about the AFA conference, afaconference.com.au, there's 36 CPD points available, 4 months worth of access, 26 live speakers, 5 panel sessions. All the panel sessions are interesting, but there's a super interesting one for advisors around tech and technology and tech that you can use today. So go to afaconference.com.au. At the moment, early bird is on for $200. Again, thank you to the great audience out here. And thank you, Aruna. You've done an excellent job today. So
thanks for your time. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you and good morning.